Welcome to Phantom Studio. How are you? Today I would like to introduce you a new topic, very important on the levels. Often when I visit some Facebook group, some forums and so on, there are a lot of questions around the leveling. The preset leveling is one of the most important part to know, especially with the Fractal, because there are several parameters and several variables that we have to consider. To do this, I would like to introduce my new preset. It's not a new preset, it's new update of my preset MF Splawn. And first of all, I wanted to give you one very and important reminder. Please subscribe to my store, otherwise you can't receive my update. It is really simple. For the privacy rules, if you are not subscribed to my preset store, you cannot receive the automatically update. So if you buy some preset from my store, please be sure that you are activated the mailing subscription. Okay, otherwise I continue to receive some people that ask me, I update my FM3 or my FM9 to the new firmware, but your preset doesn't work anymore because the CPU exceed and so on. I already update all my library. I daily work on my store to update and to fulfill the new firmwares, but please don't forget to subscribe the mailing list. Okay, thank you so much. Let's proceed again. Let's proceed, guys. So the preset leveling, immediately let's go to the store, to my preset. This is my last modification of the preset, and I want to use it to explain the level topic. First of all, when you start to develop a new preset, simply press Command and L on your keyboard, or go to the tools and call preset leveling to enable this pop-up, these windows, where you have in every situation you have immediately the situation of the preset level. Okay, and it's really helpful. Only Fractal has so smart monitoring of the presets, so please use it. Well, you have to consider that every preset should be work around 0 dB. 0 dB means you have to work in this area, and this is output 1, this is output 2. It is the same information you can also have on the output here. 0 dB means in this area, okay? Okay? And this is the ideal condition to work with your presets. And of course, you can also go to the red zone without any particular problem. Please don't touch the upper level, the maximum level, never touch it, but you can stay and work in the middle of the red zone. Typically, my suggestion is to play the rhythm part at 0 dB and the lead part in the middle of the red zone. It is up to the presets, it's up to the needs, but don't exceed too much. When you have the signal too low in this area, for example, this is absolutely wrong. Here is wrong. The best is in this area. Okay? You are in the ideal situation where the digital analog and analog digital converter works in a perfect situation, and also you work at around 0 dB. 0 dB, what does it mean? 0 dB, it is a measurement of the ratio between the reference signal to the input signal. If you have 0 dB, you have no attenuation, and you no amplification. So if you work at 0 dB, you are absolutely sure. Okay, an important thing, let's start from the clean presets. I stop the backing track. Let's start from the clean preset. Okay, and the amount of level depends from many factors, but typically the most important factor is the amp block and also the cabinet block, and also there are some other block. As you can see, every block has the level control. Okay, here the compressor, 0 dB. Sorry. Every block have this 0 dB, 0 dB. No, this is not 0 dB, but it is another block. I will explain you later on. Okay, and there is no any reason. There's no any reason that you go too much far from 0 dB. You have to stay 0, +1, -1, +2, -2, not more. And also the output level should be at 0 dB, not more, not less. Also, now the scene levels are at 0 dB. Typically, this is my idea of the preset, because the most important thing is I need to work in the best condition for the digital analog conversion, and to work for this, I have to work on the 0 dB. So let's start from the very simple preset without any effects. Okay, now there is the looper, but it is the looper, doesn't affect anything. Hi guys. Well, as you can see, there is a reverb 0 dB, the cabinet 0 dB, the amp is depend. Typically, the amp starts from -12 dB. Okay, this is the default value. Okay, and also I wanted to highlight that on the preset leveling window, you can set the output level. That means this output, it is the same. This knob is this knob. If I move it, as you can see, it is the same. But please keep it always at 0 dB. Don't touch. Makes no sense to. If you need to touch this value, there is something wrong in the preset, to me. Okay. Well, and the other, it is the amp level. Amp level is also most important, because all the level of the preset is decided by the amp block, mainly is decided on amp block. From default, okay, I can show you, for example, okay, I can put another amp block. I don't want to touch the preset in this moment. Let me select amp 2. As you can see here, the default value for any amp block is 12 dB, but it is the default value, and it depends of the amp if you need to increase or not. Okay, for example, for my clean preset, okay, I set the level of the amp block to -18 to get a signal around 0 dB. Many people ask me, "Oh, your presets go to the red zone. Oh, alert, alarm! You help me! No, absolutely, guys, be quiet. There is no problem. Absolutely, the problem is when you are in this area, at the maximum, but you stay around 0 dB. There is no problem, and I also like to work over 0 dB to put the converters in the best situation. Maybe you can search with ChatGPT or on the web what is the ratio, the signal noise ratio. It is very important. The signal has to be very, very high compared to the noise. If you have a high signal noise ratio, you are in the best condition. So please stay on 0 dB. And as you can see, now the preset is composed only by the amp, the cabinet, and reverb. Reverb is 0 dB, so no attenuation, no amplification. Cabinet is absolutely the same, and the amp in this case, to get the 0 dB, I have to stay on minus 20. If I use the default value, 12, it's too much. And because it's too much, I simply decrease the signal, minus 19, minus 80. There are some other amps, like, for example, the Splown amp I use here. I needed to set up to minus 1.9 because this amp has less level than the other amp. Sorry, now I have the volume open. Okay. Okay, and this is the only level that I suggested you touch to tune and to set up your preset at the proper value, 0 dB. Bit more is not a problem. Bit more than 0 dB. Okay, and this is the reason that you have the control of the amp level just in these windows. You don't have any scenes level. Only you have this one. This is for the second amp. This is the output. But as you can see, output 0 dB, and you have to touch only the amp level. If that is not supposed to be touched, then why did Fractal engineers made it adjustable? Leo, good questions. Because maybe you need to touch for some special reason. But if your preset is built in the proper way, you don't need to touch it. You don't need to touch it. If you need to touch, there is something wrong in some section. If you work, for example, with because you have to consider also that Fractal is not only a modeler unit, is also an effect unit, and it depends of the connection. If you use Fractal in parallel with a studio mixer, maybe you need to give more output. But it is different. In a connection like the modeler, where you have the input and you have the output and all the signal pass through the preset, you don't need to go over 0 dB. If you need to touch this level, okay, there is some blocks inside the preset that gives a big attenuation of the signal. So you have some blocks that give attenuation, some blocks that give an amplification, and you have like the roller coaster, and makes no sense. The signal on the just a moment, I have a problem with my phone. Okay, I go offline, and that's it. The signal is, to me, of course, is my opinion, has to be stable, 0 dB, and stay at 0 dB for all the flow of the preset. Okay, now I will show you there are some blocks that give more decibel, more volume, amplification and attenuation for some reason. But generally, it's when sometimes I see some preset as 20 dB, but 20 dB at maximum, makes no sense. Okay, of course, guys, the important thing, when you learn the rules and you can handle the rules easily, now that you can use your creativity and you can do what you want, of course. But okay, please take care of the basic rule. Basic rule is I have a modeler, I have an audio professional device, okay, I give I give a signal, and I want to stay with the signal at 0 dB. 0 dB means no attenuation, no amplification. Okay. Perfect. So this is the. Let's come back to the clean sound. So delete this amp, and this example, for example, I will explain you that because by the time I will explain why it's not necessary to touch this value, of course, because also if you make a single preset, and this is important, this is a good question, Leo. If you make a single preset with one sound, could be okay, but if you make a preset like this where you have 8 scenes, if you don't care all of the levels and you don't fix your signal as at the 0 dB, it is really difficult to balance the scenes between rhythm part, clean part, lead part, and so on. And this is the most common question that I see on the groups, that people, I'm a lot of problem with the level, because there are some blocks that give very weird, let's say weird, because if you don't know, it is weird, but if you know, is absolutely correct. If you don't know exactly how the blocks, the effects impact, give the impacts to the preset, you become crazy. So with scenes, you have to correct the scenes because it's too high, too low. But generally, if your preset is correct, as you can see here, this is okay. I don't know why. The scenes level remain as it is. I will use different techniques to increase the volume, but generally I don't need to touch the scene level. I don't need to touch the output block. It is default. Remember, guys. Remember the main rule is less is more. So if you need to touch too much things, something doesn't work. So let's come back. Clean sound. And this is correct, as a bit more than 0 dB. Now let's start to evaluate the block. Typically, the block that could give an impact in terms of level are blocks, dynamic blocks. It's like the compressor, for example. Now, I don't want to explain how the compressor works. I hope that you know this, but in case I will do a special lesson for the compressor. Compressor practically squeeze your signal, and of course has a dynamic impact on your signal. But the main rule is when compressor is off, you have a volume perception. When is on, you should have more or less the similar perception. If the compressor boosts the signal, there is something wrong. So you have to compensate with level. Look at the level. Okay? This, to me, of course, it is the correct way to use the compressor. Compressor has to do the compression, not boost, for example. For the booster, you have to use other blocks. This is my opinion. Of course, you can use a compressor like a booster, but when you switch on and off the compressor, you have an impact on the level, for example. Makes no sense that you put the level here. Because when you switch off the compressor, you have the dropping of the level. And I don't want this. I like that compressor does the compressor. Nothing else. Okay. Here I have the volume. I already explained what does mean this network. This is the volume. It's at 0 dB. It's at 10 in this case, but of course it doesn't give any effects because the level is still 0. The volume itself, okay, it is. I can use my pedal to tweak the volume, but it is his effect. But at the maximum the volume has to be 0 dB. So off and on and off, no impact. Perfect. And Plex block, the same, 0 dB. The phaser, the same. Phase is a modulation effect. Many phase pedal has no level control, only the ratio and the depth, nothing else. Okay, you consider when you press the foot switch on your tom pedal, you don't have any volume increase. That's it. But there are some effects like tremolo, for example. Tremolo could decrease a bit, could attenuate the level, so you can compensate a bit with the level. So you can add 1-2 dB. This is pretty normal. If I use, for example, this as a tremolo, okay, tremolo. Because this is a bit complex, but I hope you follow me. Tremolo, it is the variation of the signal alternatively, okay, and the average perception of the volume become low. It's low. So it seems that when you switch on the tremolo, it seems the volume goes down. This is pretty normal because it is a tremolo effect. Then you can compensate with the level. This is pretty normal. 1.9 could maybe more. Sometimes I do this with the tremolo. I do this because tremolo itself, it is a variation of the volume. So the average perception change, and this is the only reason that could be interesting, could be possible to touch some dB. Some dB means a very small change. Okay, the block, the different block is the drive. Driver is another story, and also you can see here there is the level indication is different. It's not anymore 0 dB, but is 5. Why? This knob goes to 0 to 10. Is completely different from this. In the reality, I already mentioned, you have not the level control on the phase pedal, the chorus pedal, and some other pedals, because they works with a unit gain. Unity gain means no attenuation, no amplification, and this is pretty normal because chorus is a chorus, phaser is a phaser, and some delay is a delay, reverb is a delay, and you don't need to. But there are some other blocks like the drive that they give an impact, and now we have to learn how to work with the drive block. And guys, pay attention. This is nothing new. It is the same rules that you know from the past with the analog words. If you put a drive block in front of the clean amp, you have a boost. You have a distortion, you have some different behavior of the sound. It depends of the interaction between the pedal, the drive pedal, and the amp. There is a very strong interaction between two effects, and it's up to the type of the amp and the type of the pedal. And I wanted to say that many people believes that you buy pedal that this is the pedal that simulate the 5150 amp or the GCM 800 okay, maybe that pedals can simulate the preamp section, but an amp, it is composed by the preamp section, the power amp section, and the cabinet section. If you have the preamp of JCM 800, but you are using a Vox AC30. Do you really think that you will get the sound of the JCM 800? Many people believe yes, because they have the illusion that they buy that pedal with the logo, Marshall logo, and they magically transfer the Vox AC30 in a GCM 800. And this is absolutely wrong, because the sound, it is a setup, is a rig with different components inside. Okay, and it is really important to take care and to pay attention of the interaction between the amp and the block. Now I'm using the custom audio clean. I love it, so I use it. No problem. This is the sound, and the drive has different, could give different impact. The fat preamp, for example. Okay, I can decide to boost my signal, so I use the level as I do with a normal drive pedal. And the behavior of the level, it depends of the circuit of the drive. Now you cannot see and you cannot hear any special boost. Why? Because in this case the pedal is working like an overdrive. So the pedals give a boost on the signal, and the signal go to this amp. But this amp, as you can see, is a high gain, so the pedal cannot increase more volume that start to distort that. Okay, so this is the interaction that I mean. If I, for example, close the gain, you can see the completely different behavior. Oh, incredible! Same drive, same amp, but completely different behavior. Why? Because if I set up the gain of this amp so high, okay, when I switch on the drive, I put the amp in overdrive mode. He cannot amplify anymore the volume, the signal, and then it starts to distort. Is it clear, this? If it's not clear, please put your question in the chat. We are in the live stream, and you are so lucky. Okay. So you have the possibility to. So it is completely, and this is different that put this kind of block before the amp or after the amp. Typically, we have to put this block before the amp, and the using of this block could have a different settings, different sounds. It's depend of the interaction. Sometimes I need to use a very, very clean amp. So I put the gain low, and I wanted to boost. Oh, now too much, so I have to decrease the level. Sorry. And now the impact is less, but I wanted to have a distortion. The drive now is very low, so I put the drive block in distortion mode. I have to decrease the level, and I have to balance the level output with the drive, okay, in the way that I see here the 0 dB. And this is the most important interaction on the preset. If you switch on and off the drive, what's happened? The sound changed dramatically, but the volume stay at 0 dB. And this is the right condition. Because if you have scenes when the drive is on, you change dramatically the volume with the scenes when the drive is off. And so you have to set up the scenes level. And this is pretty complicated. Makes no sense to do this. you have your amp. You decide that the clean amp, the clean sound is here with the gain in this position because I love it. Okay, let's tweak. Come back again to the minus 80, and I want to use the drive as a boost or as a distortion or as a light drive. This is the most, for example. Then I have to. I love, for example, the fat preamp to colorize. If I want to have a distorted sound, I have to use, for example, the Compulsion distortion is perfect. Totally different behavior because it's totally different drive from the fat preamp. It's completely different. So there is no rules. There are no fixed rules that you have to put at the level and that. No, you have to put the level, looking the level here to set up your rig always at 0 dB. And guys, believe me, we are Fractal guys, and we are really lucky because we have so power instrument to check the level of our signal. Okay, very clear. Say GU 9008. Okay, perfect. So, and with the drive you can Compulsion distortion is perfect, combined with a clean amp. But for example, in my preset, I would like to in this case, I use the fat preamp only to give a different color, bit distorted, not so much. If I need distortion, I use different drive. But the level settings of the Compulsion is completely different from the preamp. Okay, clear. I hope it's clear. Perfect. Let's go ahead. This is the amp. This is the amp clean. This is the cabinet with the proper impulse response. 0 dB, 0 dB. Okay. Let's apart this block for the moment. It is another block I would like to explain to you better later on. For the lead, I love to use this block. It's a volume channel. It's called volume block. Only two is a super clear boost because there is no equalization, nothing. Only to give here exactly 2.4 dB just for the lead sound. And this is the ratio between the rhythm part and the lead part is based on the 2.4. It's up to you, depends of the music genre, depends of your taste. Could be 2.4, 2.8, 3, up to 4. I don't think more than 4 dB. It's too high. Depends of if you play pop music, maybe you have to have a big gap from the rhythm part and the lead part. But this is absolutely up to you. And it's only to I use this block to give it the boost with the lead scenes, nothing else. Perfect. I have the sand block. This is the wraparound. It's not a sand return that you know on the amp. It is this block, and the return block is useful only to wrap around the row to the second floor. Okay. Remember, when you put the return, the default value is 0. You have to put at 0 at 100%. So you don't need any attenuation. And as usual, 0 dB. Okay, let's apart a bit this block, we have the looper. The looper, I use the playback level is a bit less because otherwise the loop is too high. This is for the looper, of course, but is okay. This is another special block. Reverb, okay, the same, 0 dB, no attenuation, no any impact to the signal. About the parallel, you have to take care about the parallel. This is a special things that I love to use the parallel, and Fractal is the unique digital model that can let you create a very complex and a very nice web, let's say, with the parallel. But when you put the parallel effect, you have to take care that you have here the dry signal, and you here you have the wet signal. You don't need to have a dry signal here. If you have dry signal, you have a problem with level. I can show you what's happened. For example, if this delay, I switch on the delay, and nothing happened. Okay, only you can hear only the delay tails when I switch on. Okay, first of all, now you have the kill dry. Kill dry means that you kill the dry signal. If you don't kill the dry signal, you have this problem. Typically, when you put the delay, you are in this condition. The bypass mode is through, and the kill dry is off. Okay. And what's happened? You, of course, because it is in parallel, you have to put the mix at 100%, and you have to tweak the amount of level with the level signal or input signal. I prefer the input to keep the tails, the previous tails, as they are. When you switch off the delay, now you can hear delay in the same way, of course, because the mix is. Now you can hear the difference when I change the mix. Oh, the volume increase. And you can also hear on the level. Why, of course? Yes, it is pretty normal, because this configuration for the delay is when you use the delay in stereo. When you decrease the mix, you mix the wet effect with the dry effect. Then you have the dry effect here, and you add another part of the dry effect here. And you can recognize perfectly this situation. When you have such kind of problem, you put the mix at 100%, so you have only the wet signal, and it works. When you switch off the delay, the volume increased dramatically. And this is the typical error that I see in the preset build from other people. Why this occurs? Because when you bypass the delay, you have the true bypass mode. That means that all signal pass here, and you practically multiply by 2 the dry signal, and this is exactly what you hear now. It is clear, and this is wrong, but is much more wrong if you try to correct this with the scene level. So I have seen people that decrease the scene level to compensate. No, guys. You have to learn to use the parallel effect in the proper way. Don't touch the scene level. Makes no sense, because when you switch on and off the delay, you have this. The effect that change dramatically the volume, and this is absolutely not correct. You have to set up the delay in the proper configuration, because you have a lot of parameter, and Fractal is so professional unit that can let you set up the parameter in the correct way. So, first of all, you have the kill dry. Okay, kill dry is perfect, but there is another things. When you switch off the delay and you have the true bypass mode activated, the tails of the delay is cutted. There is no any spillover. So the best things for delay, it is mute FX in. Mute FX in means that when you switch off the delay, only the input is muted, but the output, no. And the delay continue with spillover. Yeah. Yeah. So you are now able to use the all parallel effect without affect the dry signal, because parallel effects are effects that works only in the wet mode, not in the dry mode, and you absolutely avoid to put dry signal on the parallel effect. Clear? There is a block that could increase the volume. It is the pitch, because pitch add two different signals, left and right, to make the tune, in the case of the tune, of course. So you have a bit increasing, but not so much. You can hear, if you have the headphone, you can easily hear that you have the fixed dry signal in the middle, and you have you have wet effect left and right. So the same for the plex verb. The same rule of the delay. I put another plex. This is only possible on AxFX3. I love this preset because I take a part of the dry signal here, and I put this block. You can see in true, because it's not parallel. It's a serial connection that go to the parallel effect. It is strange, but you can see when there is a kill dry active. When I switch on the plex, and this is the effect, and it's completely different if I put this. Too much confusion. I love that the echo, the shimmer, goes into the plex and create this kind of sound. So let's go. I make a tour, the scenes tour. Okay, let's start from the. Okay, I upload again the original preset, because I make a lot of modification. So let's start from the clean. Okay. That's it. Okay? You have 8 scenes. Scenes level is 0. There is no roller coaster here. Everything is 0 dB, bit more than 0 dB. The only difference is on the lead signal when I switch on the volume. That's it. And what is important, guys, is to try and to test this situation with a backing track or with your band, and it should work perfectly. So you have to make the rhythm part, you have to make the leader part, and you can recognize everything clearly. No confusion, no super gap with the lead. Everything has to be in the, let's say, sweet mode, I can say. Okay. You have to put the backing track. Yeah. Okay. Crunch bar. Lead. Okay. Clear? Okay, I see some questions. Let me check your question, guy. Ciao Chris, ciao Axel. Nice to see you. Me too, thank you so much. Hi Marco, good to see you. Me too, thank you so much, guys. You're so kind. Thank you so much. I have all blocks on 0 dB without drive block. On drive block, I love it on the same volume as clean drive block. Is this correct? Absolutely. Perfect, Rocky. Is exactly what I told you before. Exactly. The drive block, it is a special block, and I shown before the interaction between with the amp. It depends of the amps, it depends of the drives, and you have to tweak to get the important things is that when you switch on the driver, you don't have a big volume gap or a big gap if you wanted to use the drive as a solo effect. But typically the volume should be at the same level, and of course you have two ways to check this. You have your ears, absolutely. Ears are the best things. And also you have the eyes to see the view meter. Okay, so try to learn to learn your ear to check what you hear and what you see. Because when you are on stage, you don't have the editor, you cannot see. Of course, you can check the view meter on your Fractal, but sometimes the volume perception is not so linear with what is shown with the view meter. Sometimes you have to use your brain. Okay. Thank you, Max, for the subscription. Thank you so much. Very clear, perfect. But overdrive lock, Fabio says, but overdrive lock level is not press the level. I prefer check the level after amp and then after cabinet. What do you think about but overdrive block? I already explained you, Fabio. You have to start from the amp block and the cab block. They have to stay at minus 12 dB and 0 dB. If the view meter doesn't show 0 dB, you have to tweak the amp level. That's it. The drive block, in the consequence, you have to tweak in the proper way. And it is up to you, of course. If you want to add the volume, okay, you can use the level. Drive block is different. It's the only block that can change the volume of the presets. But it depends of the volume you want, the sound you want, and so on. Okay? And for this reason, the drive block has no output level. It's completely different. This level is exactly what you see on the Tube Screamer, on the Clone Centaur, on any kind of drive block. You have the level signal, exactly like this. And for this reason, the representation of this knob is not 0 dB in the center, but is 5, and it goes to 0, from 0 to 10. Is totally different. Ok? Allora, vediamo un po'. Oh, okay, I cannot pronounce this surname, sorry. Can I boost my lead sound in out block instead of volume pan block? I do it already. No, it's not. I can tell you, this is correct, of course. You can use the scene level, absolutely. Scene level is. I often, for example, use the scene level on FM3 because the matrix, the rig matrix, is smaller than the XFX3 and FM9. I prefer the volume block because it's much more easy to. If I am on stage, okay, I can go and edit this block easily. Very easy. I also can put, for example, the block volume here on the global performance, for example. I can put this is the volume 1, for example, okay. If I go to the performance, performance parameter, I can put this volume here. So no, not this, sorry, I'm wrong. Okay, I make a mess. Okay, I put this one, sorry, here. Okay, so from the perform and global performance control, you can easily change the volume immediately. I don't know if it's possible to do this with the scenes. Maybe yes. Let me check. I'm not sure. If yes, yes, you can do this. Output 1. Yeah, so of course, you can put the scene here. So, okay, you can do this. Okay. So you can easily check the scenes from the performance. Is another way. Why not? But the most important thing is that I love to use the separate block is because I have a foot switch assigned to volume. So by my foot, I can decide if I want to increase and to boost the volume. Okay. But you can use, of course, the scenes. No problem. Okay, thank you so much. How do you get your backing track? The Samsung. Oh, Axel. This backing track, you can search on YouTube backing track by Team. It is a very nice backing track. It's the Pliny style version of the backing track. Okay. I don't see any other questions. So I hope this tutorial is useful for you. If you have other questions, you can write down your question on below to the video, to the comment, and I will try to answer later on. And please put a like on the video. Please follow my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also G66 YouTube channel. Nothing else. I would like to play another song and say you ciao. Very nice backing track. Okay. Do you set your clean sound volume always to the same level as the other, like in this video, because clean is always a little bit louder than gain sound? Yes, you're right, because it is another important factor. It is the dynamic of your playing, of course, and dynamic impact a lot on the clean sound. I prefer to have the clean a bit louder, because I wanted to decide to. Okay. So the clean, of course, it depends. Of course, you can reduce the volume. It's absolutely the clean is the problem of the clean is that depends a lot of your playing. If you're playing strongly, you have to decrease. If you play slightly, you have to increase. It's okay. You can use the compressor to optimize the volume, but okay. It is a matter of a personal taste. Okay, I can give you some hints, but it's not fixed the rules. Absolutely, they are ranges that you have to adapt the rules to your needs and to your playing. Of course, it is completely different from mine. For example, I love to share the overall. Overall issues that overall parameters and overall things that give impacts that you have to use your brain and okay, Marcus says this and that and I have to use this and that and I have to check, I have to okay, that's nice. Jeffrey BFD, I have not seen here. What do you not see? I don't know. Okay. If everything is okay, thank you so much for your attention. Put the questions below the video and see you next time. See you at next Fractal Saturday live. Thank you so much, guys. See you.